I believe the seraphic codes are alive. Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. And today I'm going to be speaking about the trippy experience I had last night, learning about soul retrievals. Okay. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this channel, we talk a lot about peak performance shamanism. So finding different ways to merge mysticism with high levels of productivity, creativity, motivation, flow state. Okay, so this is what we teach on this channel. If this vibrates with you, if you resonate already, make sure you click that subscribe button because, again, I'll be posting videos daily and you can get chimed in and follow along with all of our events or free events, including our Adepts program, which is very, very potent in synergizing your greatness. So, with that being said, oh, and also read the disclaimer, don't be an idiot, right? That being said, let's get started with today's video. So what makes soul retrieval so cool and how did I even come across this, right? So my journey started out with exploring many different guides, right? Many different spirit guides. And it wasn't after I started working with the dream beings, specifically Morpheus, Somnus, um, and Phantomos, right? So these specific beings helped me understand how I can optimize my dream world. Now, last night I had a dream where I was in some kind of cloud house type of environment with Jack Doherty was there. A lot of the streamers were there. I just remember a few faces. I Show Speed was there. So a lot of streamers were there. It's very interesting because that it was almost like a hive mind that I tapped into or something like this. Very interesting, like some kind of a cloud house of sorts. Okay. Now, what I started to do is ask for a retrieval. Now, I have to differentiate between soul retrievals, which are harnessing the lost aspects of your own soul, right? Or doing a soul retrieval for yourself, or maybe a younger self fragment or something like this, right? So, this is absolutely possible because I've done something very similar to this where I have healed my younger self through a soul retrieval protocol. Okay. So when you ask these guides for a retrieval, they will take you to just a random place where some soul is suffering, right? And generally, you just have to have a conversation with them, and then you get kind of like a dream merit or something, right? As far as I understand it, okay? I'm still a beginner in this field, but I have a lot of psychic gifts that I can attune and kind of understand a bit deeper, okay? It punches you out of the dream bubble when you do this, and it hijacks you into the astral proper. I realize one of the ways to do this is to when you're lucid dreaming to fly directly up because then you can go into the higher renditions of the dream realms, right? The celestial mansions, the different layers. There's always different layers, right? There's layers above layers in the dream realms. So once you fully attain like actual lucidness or mastery in this, the job is just simple. You show up, you talk to them, you spread good vibes, right? Just like how I'm doing in my day to day, right? And the attention charges, and so that stuck soul or that stuck fragment, that lost soul can find its way back home. Find a way to at least have some helpers then set in for them, right? So you can always look around in your environment if you're very uncertain of what's going on in a soul retrieval setting. You can always look around and be like, I'm going to outsource this to one of the helpers, right? Or you can take them through the different realms. Sometimes I've done that too. I would suggest you don't go around experimenting because there have been a lot of spooky and scary shit that I've also experienced, especially in the lower astral. Um, but that's a different point, okay? There's mid-astral, lower astral, higher astral, and certain beings hang around in these realms, okay? And the way you can differentiate is if you ever smell very strongly, you know you're in the astral, okay, instead of the dream world. And sometimes you'll have this feeling of like you're falling backwards endlessly type of thing. Very interesting. So you don't need to be a saint for this, okay? Advanced folks talk about lifting a room as well. Um, for group soul retrievals, this is also very powerful thing to do. But again, I would not break the laws of the dream reality. Like if you lift up an entire room, it's almost like you're moving the entire scene upwards, right? So that the subplanes can handle it. And you're basically like handing it off to the helpers then. It helps to clarify the map that you're on, okay? Number one, notice the dream characters, okay, that are interacting with you. This tells you a lot about your own psyche, and it's good to interpret different data from this. Usually in dreams, you'll have these NPC characters too that are just kind of dream avatars. They aren't like real, tangible, beings. And the weird thing about a dream is you'll just kind of like accept whatever is going on, even if there's trippy shit going on, right? So in the dream bubble, it's almost like very malleable. I have never broken out of the entire construct of the dream yet. I'm still a little bit um, mindful when it comes down to that kind of stuff because I do know that there's like astral agents, there's different dream characters that are very timeless, right? But the lower astral, man, it's like this looping dark energy. It's brooding, it's rotten smelling, and it's just so bad. I don't know how to describe it with human words, actually, but bleh, right? Through a sound effect, I can give you the idea of what's going on there. Higher planes are actually more HD, much more lighter. You can see much more vividly. It's weird how there's lower bandwidth or like low internet connection or resolution in the lower realms. And these higher realms are so vivid and like, wow, you're like immersed into it and it feels so real. Could it be that Mara is Maya? Food for thought, okay? When I was really into it, I think I was going like once every 2 weeks to try this out. Get more validations as you go along, right? You might bring back details you wouldn't have known, or the vibe just lingers longer even after you wake up. It's very rare. It's very rare per night, right? So sometimes I'll go in and I'll be like, I'll set the intention, I'll write down, I would like a soul retrieval assignment, please. And I'd write that down like a bunch of different times before sleeping. And by the morning, I would keep a dream journal and then I just pinpoint the things that I picked up or remember. But the main thing is the memory really is the main work because a lot of people don't remember their dreams, right? They remember fragments of it. I could be giving you a soul retrieval in your dream, but you'll wake up and you'll be like, nothing happened. But then you're like feeling fresh and so free and like your heart chakra's open and all this kind of stuff, right? So there's healing happening in the dream realms. This is what we got to understand too. For people who have these constant nightmares and paranoia and sleepless nights and all this thing, you're spending a lot of time in these lower planes. So that means you need to actually start floating up, flying up if you can, using your own consciousness, and have a lot more dream checks throughout the day. I don't think people do enough checks of like, am I alive? Right? Am I here? Right? Looking at your hands or turning on a light switch on and off, or these kinds of quick, dream checks, like in Inception, they had the top that kept spinning, right? So this is very important to note too. Doing any kind of service is a state upgrade. That's the reason why there's a hidden payoff when you do soul retrievals. It gives you that post-wake afterglow, right? Not that groggy, like waking up in the morning. Because you helped somebody, right? This clean, buoyant mood can last for hours, but it's just nervous system hygiene through dream service, okay? So that's kind of how I'd describe it. And again, it takes a little bit of leadership because you will know based on the energy signatures and patterns of the helpers there in the dream realm. Um, when I first interacted with a helper, they seemed very approachable, clinical, very light and resonant in their beingness. They weren't very like strict or like dogmatic. That's not the vibration that I got from these helpers. So that's why I went ahead and passed along my assignment in a certain way for some specific soul fragments. Retrievals become almost like an on-ramp to explore these calmer states of mind and all these brighter planes too, right? Because usually these retrievals take place in kind of like a purgatory or like a heavenly state or sometimes even the mental plane, right? Because a lot of the times we also switch from the mental uh and the astral and the dream and it overlaps. There's a lot of overlaps here, okay? So There's things I do throughout my day that I also do in my dreams. Just like with spine tall, jaw soft, just shoulders down. These types of relaxation things are just humming. Just, deep humming. I'll sometimes hum towards certain individuals in a soul retrieval, and they'll feel just the resonance of my calmness in my hum. And even that sometimes is just enough to soothe somebody or to be a living ointment for somebody to soothe their pain, right? A lot of people around the world are going through lots and lots of pain, right? And the only place that they're getting help is through their dreams, right? So this is why soul retrievals are very crucial and important. So doing a little bit of breath work throughout the day and then translating onto the dream realm, right? Doing the same breath work as you're lucid dreaming. So you signal the intent. When I become lucid tonight, you're not saying if, right? When I am going to be lucid tonight. So it's a certainty, it's a godfidence. I request a retrieval with the right helpers, but keep it brief and keep it safe. So be it, Swaha, amen, right? This is very powerful to just state as an intention before you go to sleep. And trust me, have you ever had a dream? This is the trippy thing. You might be having a soul retrieval without even knowing that you're doing soul retrievals. Have you ever had a conversation with a dream character once and they felt so much healed afterwards as a byproduct of that? Or have you had a dream conversation where you're like healing somebody in your dreams? This is exactly a soul retrieval, okay? So you can try to break the bubble, try to go sideways and try to, hijack out of these lower realms if you're falling deeper. Because sometimes what they do is there's like a tunnel or something like this where they pull these lower astral beings through that tunnel into the middle astral so it's much more manageable in a certain way. And then they slowly bring it to the higher realms for a healing, right? In a certain way. Um, how do these guides choose? I haven't asked them that, but that's a very interesting question. And also, if you wake up in the middle of the night and then you just wait 15, 30 minutes and you reread your intent and then you step back in, you'll notice it's a lot stronger, a lot sharper, because you need at least 15 minutes to get into that flow state essence, right? So, yeah, I highly recommend you try that. If you ever get up in the middle of the night, just wait like 15 minutes and then go back to sleep. Always look for the attributes of the environment. So whether there's lights, whether there's, sounds, does it seem kind of okay, like the normal world or a reflection or clone of this world? Or are you in like some kind of a medieval environment, which is like going maybe backwards in time, or maybe you're shifting through dimensions, right? So there's many different ways that you can go with this, and it's kind of like your intention carries you around. So sometimes what I'll do through the dream realms is I will access my inner dragon energy from my heart space, and I will fly on the back of that dragon to then explore the astral realms so that I don't have to waste my energy flying around so much. I can just chill and kind of relax, when you're skydiving and you have like no thoughts. You're just kind of, you know, flowing through the dreams. I like doing that. That's more valuable for me because it's more relaxing for me and I can just go from one assignment to another if I wanted to on the back of that dragon too. Keep it human and keep it very light. Never, never tell these individuals that they are dead. Don't say it, don't bring it up. It's gonna trip them out. It's gonna, I've experienced something similar where this person did not know that there were a soul that was gone yet, and I had brought up something and then they got freaked out. So I had to like you know, basically take their energy and redirect their energy towards a helper who could come in and calm them down, right? Reminds me kind of this movie that Ellie recommended called No Solar. No Solar 1 and 2. I have yet to see the second one. I think I'll go tap into that. It's a very powerful movie. and you're going to get the understandings of like the lower hell realms and the higher realms of the healing centers over there, how they're all wearing white, and you kind of get the vibration of this. It's very, very powerful. If the vibration of the person that you're retrieving the soul of feels predatory or it feels icky, back off immediately. You call it off, you just say end assignment, and you try to widen your eyes as much as you can so you like force yourself to wake up. Okay? Or you can spin, fly up, and try that too. Okay. But this is very key and important because you don't know where you're at. You could be somewhere, you could be anywhere, right? And if there are certain beings, maybe they're portraying that they're a human, but there's some other, archonic force or something, pretending to be a dream watcher or whatever. So this is why we have to watch out for this. Okay. It's not just that, okay, it's a predator, it's a human. I have to watch out. No, you have to actually watch out as well when it comes down to these dream critters. Okay. And again, you don't have to help everybody. Okay. You ask for the right assignments. This is why it's intentional. So anyway, guys, I know some of you guys are just complete beginners in terms of this. So one of the things that I just said is to write the intention down before you go to sleep. And let me know if any cool, soul retrieval stories come up. You can type it in the comments. We will join our tribe on Telegram if it resonates and share over there. You can integrate by understanding what worked in your procedures. I sometimes like to close the field by just a hand over the belly and hand over the heart. And this seems to calm down my nervous system very quickly, especially when there's very frightening dreams or different things going on. So how do you know that your soul retrieval is working? Well, dreams will look much more vivid and pictorial in nature. Your scenes will start to shift by request, right? So if you're like, nah, I prefer palm trees behind there, right? And they suddenly start growing, you know you're lucid in the dream now, right? You can actually start moving things around. And so that's another sign that you're doing really well. Yeah, short, warm convos that end with a kind of arrival of somebody, coming in and just, being a helper, and then transitioning away from that. But that's usually how I've experienced it. Very powerful. And of course, that clean afterglow after waking up, just the peace of helping somebody in need, right? Piece of helping somebody in need, somebody who's tortured or in pain, to give them at least a little bit of hope, a little bit of depth, a little bit of kindness, so that they can be on their ways towards a much better life, right? So it starts with scheduling it in. Remember to sing or hum. I love singing to the souls as well at times. It's very powerful. Just a light singing, gentle, happy songs. Don't argue with religion, politics, beliefs. That's another thing. Okay. And also don't do the room lift for the collective right away because they might have certain rules over their architecture, dream architecture, and environments. And like they're going to treat you like a graffiti artist in some certain dream realms. Okay. So you don't want to be a vandal, but you want to be a doctor and a warrior, which is this theme, the Seraphim Angel, right? Of this month. So I hope you tapped in and enjoyed this video. You can always ask me more, in depth about what's going on with this. And if you guys have any similar stories, I would love to know. Thank you so much for tapping in. Have an incredible rest of your day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. You got this. We got this upward spiral. Boom.